Next two songs will be from Coldplay, so I hope you enjoy those songs.
Hi travellers, an Aussie abroad here. Welcome back to day 2 in Sydney. If you haven't seen part 1 of day 2, click the card above. Picking up where we left off, I was walking around the Westfield, looking desperately for the Sydney Tower entrance, but it was proving rather difficult to find. After asking numerous people there on how to get to the entrance of the tower, I finally found out where I was supposed to go. The Sydney Tower is Sydney's tallest structure and the second tallest observation tower in the Southern Hemisphere. Auckland's Sky Tower is taller, but Sydney Tower's main observation deck is almost 50 metres higher than the observation deck on Auckland's Sky Tower. The name Sydney Tower has become common in daily use. However, the tower has been known as the Sydney Tower Eye, AMP Tower, Westfield Centrepoint Tower, or just Centrepoint. The Sydney Tower is a member of the World Federation of Great Towers. If you think that Coca-Cola sign looks familiar, you'd be right. It's literally just down the road from where I'm staying in Potts Point. That's where I walked from in order to get to the Sky Tower. The tower stands 309 metres above the Sydney CBD, located on Market Street between Pitt and Castlereagh Streets. The tower is open to the public and is one of the most prominent tourist attractions in the city, being visible from a number of vantage points throughout town and from adjoining suburbs. The admission fee to going up the tower is for an adult $26.50 and for a child $17. It includes a 4-day cinema experience and a 360-degree view of all of Sydney in which you can see at least 80 kilometres in every direction. Designed by Australian architect Donald Crone, the first plans for Sydney Tower were unveiled in March 1968. Construction of the office building commenced in 1970 and tower construction began in 1975. Prior to the construction of the tower, the height limit in Sydney had been set at 279 metres to allow for safe overflights by flying boats. Public access to the tower began in August 1981. The total cost of the construction was Australian $36 million. In 1998, the addition of a lightning rod to the top of the spire extended the tower's overall height to 309 metres, which is 327 metres above sea level. If you choose to do so, there is an option to do a skywalk. This is an open-air glass-floored platform encircling the Sydney Tower Eye at the height of 268 metres above the ground level. The viewing platform extends over the edge of the main structure of the deck. It was opened on the 18th of October 2005, cost Australian $3.75 million to construct, took 4 years to design and 2 months to build. This platform is only accessible as part of planned and booked tours.
I've just finished up with the observation deck. It cost me $26.50 to go in. It took about an hour and a half, 2 hours to actually do the whole thing. I was waiting in lines for a lot of it. You have to watch this 4D movie, which is kind of pointless. It's not that bad, but kind of pointless. But then you're waiting in line for about half an hour, 45 minutes to get up to the observation deck. I spend about 10-15 minutes up there and then you've got to wait about 15 minutes to get back down. So it's definitely something that if you want to do, it's a really great view, don't get me wrong, but if you want to do it, make sure you've got enough time and leave a good hour or two in your day to actually do it.
Just like Melbourne, in the CBD you're more than likely to see some really strange people, and this proved just to be exactly the same for Sydney. This guy, however, was my favourite by far.
Next two songs will be from Coldplay, so I hope you enjoy those songs. Look at the stars, look how they shine for you, and everything you do, it was so yellow.
At this point in the day, I still had some time to kill, so I figured I may as well go for a bit of a walk down towards the water to see what was down there. Little did I know that it would be so full of tourist attractions.
I've still got a few hours left before I've got to go to my cousin's party tonight, so I've decided I'm going to go for a bit of an explore again. I think I might go see if I can check out Madame Tussauds, and I've just noticed there's an aquarium right next to it, so I might actually check that out first.
King Street Wharf, covering approximately 5 hectares, is a former maritime industrial area on the eastern shore of Darling Harbour, an inlet of Sydney Harbour that has been redeveloped into a mixed-use tourism, commercial, residential and maritime development as part of the extensive redevelopment in the general area. King Street Wharf is adjacent to the Darling Harbour Tourist Precinct and on the western edge of Sydney's CBD. The residential towers occupy the area bounded by King Street to the south, Shelley Street to the east, Erskine Street to the north and Lime Street to the west, ranging in height from 8 to 14 stories. The commercial waterfront is between Lime Street and Darling Harbour and extends slightly north of the end of Erskine Street. It consists of 85 commercial suites with a retail component set underneath. The retail area contains 11 restaurants, the largest of which seats 450, including its outdoor areas. Madame Tussauds, the family themselves pronounce it Tussauds, is a wax museum, the original in London, with smaller museums in a number of other major cities, such as Sydney. The Sydney Tussauds opened in April 2012 and was the 13th Madame Tussauds to open in the world. The attraction is also the only one of its kind in all of Australia. It was founded by wax sculptor Marie Tussauds. Madame Tussauds is a major tourist attraction all over the world, displaying waxworks of famous people. Marie Tussauds was born as Marie Groschultz in 1761 in Strasbourg, France. Her mother worked as a housekeeper for Dr. Philippe Curtius in Bern, Switzerland, who was a physician skilled in wax modelling. Curtius taught Tussauds the art of wax modelling. He moved to Paris and took his young apprentice, only 6 years old, with him. Tussauds created her first wax sculpture in 1777 of Voltaire. At the age of 17, she became the art tutor to King Louis XVI of France's sister, Madame Elizabeth, at the Palace of Versailles. During the French Revolution, she was imprisoned for 3 months awaiting execution, but was released after the intervention of an influential friend. Other famous people whom she modelled include Jean-Jacques Rousseau and Benjamin Franklin. During the Revolution, she modelled many prominent victims. She claims that she would search through corpses to find the severed heads of executed citizens, from which she would make death masks. Her death masks were held up as revolutionary flags and paraded through the streets of Paris. She inherited the doctor's vast collection of wax models following his death in 1794, and spent the next 33 years travelling around Europe. She married Francois Tussauds in 1795, and the show acquired a new name, Madame Tussauds. In 1802, she accepted an invitation from Paul Philidor, a magic lantern and phantasmagoria pioneer, to exhibit her work alongside his show at the Lyceum Theatre, London. She did not fare particularly well financially, with Philidor taking half of her profits. She was unable to return to France because of the Napoleonic Wars, so she travelled throughout Great Britain and Ireland, exhibiting her collection. From 1831, she took a series of short leases on the upper floor of Baker Street Bazaar, which later featured in the Druce Portland case sequence of trials of 1898 to 1907. This became Tussauds' first permanent home in 1836. By 1835, Marie had settled down in Baker Street, London, and opened a museum. One of the main attractions of the museum was the Chamber of Horrors. The name is often credited to a contributor to Punch in 1845, but Marie appears to have originated it herself, using it in advertising as early as 1843. This part of the exhibition included victims of the French Revolution and newly created figures of murderers and other criminals. Other famous people were added, including Lord Nelson and Sir Walter Scott. Some sculptures still exist that were done by Marie Tussauds herself. The gallery originally contained some 400 different figures, but fire damage in 1925 coupled with German bombs in 1941 has rendered most of these older models defunct. The casts themselves have survived, allowing the historical waxworks to be remade, and these can be seen in the museum's history exhibit. The oldest figure on display is that of Madame Tussauds, the work of Curtius from 1765, part of the waxworks left to Tussauds at his death. Other faces from the time of Tussauds include Robespierre and George III. In 1842, she made a self-portrait which is now on display at the entrance of her museum. She died in her sleep on the 15th of April, 1850. By 1883, the restricted space and rising cost of the Baker Street site prompted her grandson, Joseph Randall, to commission the building as its current location on Marylebone Road. The new exhibition galleries were opened on the 14th of July 1884 and were a great success. However, Randall had bought out his cousin Louise's half share in the business in 1881, and that, plus the binding costs, meant that the business was underfunded. A limited company was formed in 1888 to attract fresh capital, but had to be dissolved after disagreements between the family shareholders. And Tussauds was sold to a group of businessmen in February 1889 led by Edwin Josiah Poyser. Edward White was an artist who was dismissed by the new owners to save money. He allegedly sent a parcel bomb to John Theodore Tussauds in June 1889 in revenge. The first sculpture of a young Winston Churchill was made in 1908, with a total of 10 made since. The first overseas branch of Madame Tussauds was opened in Amsterdam in 1970. Madame Tussauds Wax Museum has now become a major tourist attraction all over the world. Today's wax figures at Tussauds include historical and royal figures, film stars, sports stars, and famous murderers. It is known as Madame Tussauds Museums, and it is owned by a leisure company called Merlin Entertainments, following the acquisition of the Tussauds Group in May 2007. In July 2008, Madame Tussauds Berlin branch became embroiled in controversy when a 41-year-old German man brushed past two guards and decapitated a wax figure depicting Adolf Hitler. This was believed to be an act of protest against showing the ruthless dictator alongside sports heroes, movie stars, and other historical figures. However, the statue has since been repaired, and the perpetrator has admitted that he attacked the statue to win a bet. The original model of Hitler was unveiled in Madame Tussauds London in April 1933. It was frequently vandalised, and a 1936 replacement had to be carefully guarded. In November 2015, Madame Tussauds announced that it would open a museum in New Delhi in 2017. Trinidadian American recording artist Nicki Minaj's statue at the Las Vegas Museum was provided extra security following an act of vandalism by one of her fans who took some inappropriate photos in June of 2015. In January 2016, the statue of Adolf Hitler was removed from the London Museum in response to an open letter sent by a staff writer of the Jewish Journal of Greater Los Angeles, followed by a significant support for its removal from social media.
I'm done at Madame Tussauds at the moment. It's about time for me to head off. It's about 4:15. Gotta go get ready for the party tonight. But it costed me about, I think it was $40 to get in. Really fun. I've been to the one in London. That was just as incredible. Some of the wax figures, just the way that they're made and the way they look is amazing. Some of them, not so much, but most of them are pretty incredible. It's definitely one that you want to go to with friends, or you better be comfortable with asking randoms if they can take photos of you, because a lot of them are sets that are built. So it's okay to get photos standing next to them, but if you want the full set in it, obviously you will want someone else to take the photo. If you're like me and have no friends, then awesome. You're just gonna have to make do.
Hey travellers, thanks for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed day 2 in Sydney. It's been an absolute blast. Be sure to like and subscribe, share the video with your friends, and if you love travelling as much as I do and exploring new places, stay tuned for the next episode. And as always, this is an Aussie Abroad, signing off.